Yo, it's good YouTube, it's Dango to you, and today I'm going to be showing you guys the About section in the Gym Full Stack company portfolio that we have over here. So we're going to be doing three things, basically three components: a brand carousel and Swiper.js, a Google Maps and embedded maps, and AboutCards. Okay, so that is what we're going to be doing today. So first off, all I need to do is just go into our back end and then schemas, create a new file, call it brands.js, or call it brand.js, for example. And we can use the old schemas we defined before, but I'm going to show you the one I defined over here. So we could just comment that out, and let me code that with you guys, okay? So I'm just going to keep it over here because I need the previous names. I don't want it to break. So I'm just going to do a const, and I'm going to call it brand, open up a parentheses. I'm going to give it the name of brands, and again, if you guys remember, this is just the key ID, so key ID, and then the title. This is the one that's going to appear on the admin panel itself, and also type of document. Inside that, we are going to assign something called fields, like in here, so fields, and inside that fields, we're going to open up an array, and inside there, we're going to open up objects, okay? And let's think about it. We just need two things over here. That is going to be the image, and that's going to be the title, okay? So I'm just going to get the old ones I have over here, because I want the same names and same everything. But just bear in mind that this is the key ID that we're going to map over on later on in our front end. And make sure to export it. Okay. And that is pretty much it. Let me just open up my terminal and make sure that the backend compiled correctly. And yeah, so if you go into your admin panel, we're gonna find out that at this moment the brand section is gonna be over here. And by the way, the brand section like icons that I'm using is an open source icon like set that I have over here. So I'm just gonna put in the link in the description, but for you guys information, it is named I'm just gonna get the name for it, just a second. Here it is, called icondoc.com, so you could just add in your new brands over here, and make sure to add in a couple of ones because we're gonna be doing this like infinite loop swiper, like a brand one. You could also add in your custom brands if you want to. Okay, and just upload a couple of images and brand titles. Again, I mentioned the icon doc over here. Okay, and let me remove actually everything right now from the about brands over here. I already have it in the demo, so I'm gonna open that to the side just to again keep it as a reminder, and as well as just to get the imports from here. Okay, so for the about brands, we're actually gonna do something called RNFCE, or RN. Actually, it's called RF. Okay, actually, we can just do it on our own. So we're just gonna export default and then a function, and that function is gonna be called about brands. Okay. So we don't need to mention an export over here. So this is the components, by the way, that we're going to be building today: the about cards, the about brands, and about map. So if you check out the project folder structure, you're going to find out that this is mentioned, but these two are not mentioned. So just make sure to create them and do RFCE. So in the About map, also go and do RFCE and go into the About cards, RFCE, just I'm gonna make them empty right now. And also for the About brands, same thing. Okay, so the About brands is supposed to not show anything right now. We're just gonna return a empty fragment, and inside it we're just gonna add in an h5, and inside it we're gonna call it brands. Okay, let's also add in a span. Okay, and inside that span we're just gonna give it the class name of text info, so brands. And also this one is going to take the class name of text weight. Okay, so we just need to add in the rest of the text inside the span, and here it is. Okay, afterwards just go into your section and just import everything that we have for the about section, which is going to be again the about brands, about map, and about cards, and export everything in the index.js as well in the components like I showed you guys before. Okay, let me close everything up and let me go into the about brands. Okay, so like just in the previous videos, we're just gonna import useState and useEffect as well, just for the back end. And again, you could use the same one we did in the home page before. So like in the video background, here it is. If you want to just copy and paste this, okay, but I'm not gonna do that. Again, I'm gonna do it from scratch for you guys. So we're just gonna assign in right now a const that is gonna take the state variable and the state action, useState, and open up brackets, and inside it just an empty array. And here we're just gonna add in the state variable and set brands. So that is gonna be brands and set brands, not cards. So brands, set brands. And also we're gonna do a useEffect. So let me just do that from scratch. useEffect, and this is a state hook. So inside it, we're just gonna be adding in the query like we did before. And this is the JRack query. By the way, if you checked out the previous video, so if you just go into Sanity and just search JRack queries Sanity, this is the query language they use. Okay, so if you want to check out just more examples, you could just check out their documentation, but for now that is enough. And we're also going to import the client that we mentioned before. Okay, so we're going to import the client that is from client.js, which connects the back end to the front end. Okay, and we're going to do client.fetch and then the query, and then we're going to map over the data, and then we're going to set the brands to the data. Okay, so if we actually try and test out this right now, it's supposed to be working. So actually let's get the information from our backend, but let's map over it first. So to display our information for our backend, we're just gonna do brands.map, and then we're gonna open up an arrow function, and inside it we're gonna add the brand and the index, and we're gonna be starting mapping over the information again. Okay, so brand dot, if you go to our back end, and then schemas, and then brands. Again, we just need the brand image, and these are the key IDs, so brand image and brand title. So brand.brand image and brand.brand title. That's what I call them. You could just call them title and image if you want to. By the way, this is not going to work. We need to import something called URL for, which is responsible to get the image URL. This is not going to work if we do this right now. So we're just going to define an image tag right now, and we're going to give it the source of basically the brand. But again, like I said, it's not going to work. So we need to get the link for the image by using URL for. Okay, so brand.brand image. Yep. And let's check it out, okay? So right now we have an error. That is fine. It's just giving us an expected an assignment, and instead saw an expression. Okay, so let's check out where actually this error is. I think that is in terms of the map. We just could add in over here an empty fragment, and yep. So right now, of course, it's messed up because we still did not add in the swiper, but we got the content dynamically. So that is the first step. So if you want to add in the swiper, you could continuing the video, but if you do want to do the GUI on yourself, you could. So I'm just gonna help you do that. So for the swiper, I'm using something called Swiper.js. Okay, and to add it on Yarn or npm, all you need to do is just yarn add swiper, and make sure you are in your front end folder. Okay, not your back end. So yarn add swiper, and if you are on npm, you can use npm install swiper. It is available for a lot of like frameworks, and there are a lot of demos if you also want to choose like different demos for or a different swiper than the one I'm using for this video. Okay, so I'm just gonna give it a moment and install, and I'm closing this up, and I'm just gonna import everything we need. Okay, I'm gonna get it from the demo just to save up time. So I'm just gonna get the styles and the React components and also the modules. Okay, so this is just for the GUI. Let me put it over here. And if you do check out the Swiper.js get started, you're gonna find out that actually this is the best way, or this is actually the way that's on the documentation to use the Swiper styles. Okay, and I am importing them here only because I want them only in the About Brands. I don't want them to be used throughout the project. So we're just gonna restart the project using yarn start. And I'm gonna keep the demo to the side, okay, because I just wanna keep it to remind myself just as hints. I don't actually need it, but let me just keep it also as well, just for saving up your time. Okay. So in terms of the GUI, we could start by doing an MDB row. And why is that? Because basically in our About section, we're going to be using a grid system. So we could just add in everything over here. Just a moment. Let me get this H5 over here. And again, put the brands.map in a row. And also, we're going to put it into an MDB column. And we don't need to define the size for this. We could define the size 12 because basically we just wanted to take the uh, like the whole width of the screen. Okay. So like I did in the demo before, I just did the column size of size 12. We could do the same thing. It's just gonna give us an error right now because we did not import everything from MDB React UI kit. So just the row, MDB, and then row. Okay. And that error is gonna be gone right now in a second. And here it is. Right now, we're gonna be defining the swiper. And let's think about it for a second. We do not want to map over the swiper itself. We just want to map it over the swiper slides. So that is what we're going to be doing. We're just going to be putting in the slider outside the mapping, and we're going to put the swiper slide inside the mapping, okay? Because we just want to map over the slide, okay? So keep the swiper outside the map. And then we're going to put in over here swiper slide. Let's also add in the image over here and the title. And let's give it the key of brand plus index. One last thing just to avoid any errors. Let's remove this empty fragment. And that is pretty much it. So that is pretty much it in terms of the basic swiper. So right now we do not have any styling added or anything. Like you can see, the images are not styled or anything. They're all like there's an image that's in different width and height. So we just need to style in the images right now that are in the brand carousel and also give the modules for the brand carousel. So let's actually get them from the demo again to save time. So let's add to the swiper itself, not the swiper slide, okay? The swiper itself. Let me just format the document. Okay. And in the swiper itself, we're first off going to give it the property of slides per view. And that is going to be 3, which is going to show us 3 slides per view. So let me just save that and show you. As you can see right now, it's giving us 3 slides per view. We can also give it a space between. This is going to be 30. A slides per group. That is going to be equal to 3. And we're going to loop over them because basically we want them to be an infinite loop. And we're going to be auto playing. But again, for this to work, you need to have the modules imported. That's why we imported them earlier on. So we're just going to put the models over here. And let's autoplay. Let's continue to autoplay, okay? So autoplay. And delay is just 10 milliseconds. So I'm just going to give it the same delay over here, which is 1.5 seconds. And disable on interaction. This is going to be false because we don't want the loop to be disabled when user clicks on it. So this is also, you could add in this property of a boolean value. And let me just copy in this class name, okay? So what else? We just need to add in the pagination and navigation, and also this loop fill group with blank. As per the documentation, I'm also gonna add in the references like I have over here. Okay, this is from the demos of Swiper.js. I'm also going to copy in the properties for the image because again, I don't want to take more time than this. And that is pretty much it in terms of the slider. So you could just basically add in these class names and you'll get these same styles if you want to. But again, this is not the purpose of this tutorial. But here they are. Again, I'm going to explain them quickly. So I'm just giving them explicit height and width, a class name of rounded 5, just some shadows, and a background info. And let me get actually everything in the demo that I did before. So it is the same thing, but let me remove the references. Okay. The only difference is that I just give it some padding Y over here. So if you want to have that as well, just make sure to add in that padding Y. So we're done with the branch carousel. We could right now go into the Google Maps. And this is actually a really easy part. All you actually need to do is just go into your About Map over here. And again, like I said, just do an RFCE and export it to your index.js and again import it into the About section. Just make sure it's displaying. And afterwards, just to get the Google Maps, the embedded Google Map, just go to Google Maps. And make sure you're logged in. That's actually all you really need to do. And search wherever location you want. Let's I think I should be blurring this out. Anyways, let me just get any location for now. So if I get this location, for example, oh my god, no, let's get a location in the city, like anywhere. Uh, yeah, that's fine. Okay, let's just get this location for now, okay? So let's say we want to get this embedded map from Google. All we actually need to do is just pick the location. So just pick wherever location you want. And then you see share and then embed a map. You're just going to copy the HTML and go into your About Map and basically paste everything. But the only difference is in React, you need to give it the style of border of 0. So in React, you just need to give it the style property like this. So border of 0. And let me just save that. Again, that is just how you get that Google Maps. And as you can see, this is not even like the same one in the demo. And what this is basically just an embedded iframe, and it's getting the source from the Google Maps. And we're just giving it some width and height of 450 pixels and 600 pixels. So we could change that and give it a width of 100% and actually give it a height. Let me just check out what I did in the demo also, just again to save time. Because usually we just need a little bit of thinking time to like get all these styles together. So I'm just gonna get them from here. It is also getting the lazy loading, so just make sure to add that as well. Allow full screen. Uh, uh, okay, so we could add in class name right now, and also we could add in some more styles. So I gave it a border radius of 28 pixels, so we could just do that. A border, and then radius of 28 pixels. So we're gonna find out this rounded right now, but it's too rounded, so I'm gonna make it 18 actually. Let me keep the demo to the side over here and close this as well for now. What else? Let me just check out. We also need to give it a title because that's just gonna give us an error in the console if we don't do that, like a warning. So we could just give it a title of any string you choose, like Google Maps. What else? We're gonna give it a class name also, and the styles that I chose before. I think I just gave it some shadowing. Yeah, just some shadow and padding. So we're just gonna use shadow 5 strong. This is MDB again, if you don't know that, and padding Y of 2. Okay, so we're just gonna make it a little bit more closed, as you can see if I like remove that padding Y. So yeah, and that is pretty much it in terms of the about map. We actually are not gonna do anything else, and even if I copy the demo over here in the about map, it's basically the same thing. The only difference is that I just have this h6 that says locate us, and also I'm just giving the div a width of 100 and a padding of y of 3 just to give it a little bit more spacing, as you can see. And also I got this like border 0 from like people who had the same issue on Stack Overflow. So that is the Google Maps section. We're done with this section. So let's actually just remove this demos. We don't need them anymore. So we have one last thing to do, and that is gonna be the about cards. Okay, I don't want to waste your time also as well. So basically, we're just doing the same thing we did in the like the brands one. Okay, so like in terms of connecting the back end to the front end, again, we're doing the same thing. We're just assigning in a state variable, and that is going to be cards and set cards. Again, use state, and same thing in empty array, but we just need to import those. Use state, use effect, and then we're gonna use effect again, same thing, arrow function, and we're just gonna map over the query, and that is gonna be a type of abouts because that is the old one we mentioned in our schemas. So we have abouts and brands, and here they are if you haven't checked out the schema type videos. Again, I have a video, it's called schema types, that mentions all of the schema types except the brands one. Okay, and afterwards again we're gonna be importing the client, import client, and also the URL for from client, because we're gonna get the images for the about cards. And again, in terms of the about cards, if I go over here just 1 second, the 3D assets I'm using over here, let me just show you the demo later on, but these images I got from Iconic Design, so these are free to use. They have an MIT license if you want to check them out. It's free open source, by the way, if you guys want to use this. Okay, so let me just refresh this and continue in the about cards. Okay, so again we're gonna do client.fetch, and that's gonna be the query, and then map over the data, same thing, set card as the data. So if I just go over here and I start again mapping over the cards, so cards, nope, cards, dot map, and that is going to be the card and the index. And, and let's open up an empty fragment for now. We're going to remove that, but I just want to show you that we got everything from the back end. So card, and then let's go to our abouts. So card.title, card.description, and card.image. So card.title, and another one card.description. And in terms of the image, again, we're using URL4 to handle our source because we're getting a URL link. So URL4, and that is going to be card.brandImage, or actually no, that is going to be a about image. Again, you could define these names whatever you want. You could just name it image. So let me refresh this and check out what is going on right now, okay? So there is something wrong. Okay, let me check out the demo. So we're getting the type of abouts, we're fetching over the query, we're mapping over the cards. Let's try and do that another again. Okay, let's actually remove these. And let's just add in an MDB container for now. MDB container. And let's import actually everything also. So MDB container. And let's add in this over here. And then the image. Okay. So there's something that I'm doing wrong. So let me just copy demo. Okay, I think we just forgot to mention the empty dependency array. And that is very crucial, by the way, guys. Try not to remember to not forget the empty dependency array, or you get an infinite loop in your project. So we don't want that. Okay, so why isn't it getting the data? So we're fetching the query and then the data, mapping over the cards, then the data. Okay, maybe I just need to, let me just copy in the GUI. Okay. And also let me copy in the imports over here. Okay, so there seems to be an issue right now with my like the new code that I read. Okay, I think I understand now. Just one more second. Okay, that's weird. It's really, really weird. Because basically I'm just writing the same thing. Anyways, we're just doing the same thing we did in the like the brand carousel, but the only difference is we're just adding in the MDB card over here, and I'm just giving it some styling, which is gonna be making them like explicit to this heights and width. I'm also just adding in some text for the cards themselves. Again, for the image, I'm using URL4. But the original code that I just read with you guys right now, like for some reason was lagging or some kind, I don't know, it was not showing the information. But here is the demo code that I read before. That's why I read the demo code, by the way, guys, because if any like issues happen throughout when I'm recording the video, so I just give you a like a finished version of the code over here that works as well. Because if you want to follow along, I don't want you to be using code that does not work. So here it is. And that is it in terms basically of the about section. There's not anything else we're going to be doing in the about section. Again, here's the GUI if you want to do the same GUI I used over here. And I'm going to add in the references for everything in the description. You can guys watch out for the final videos for this tutorial. I'm going to just do a contact form in the next video. Afterwards, we're going to be adding in membership and classes are going to be the same thing. So I'm just going to do one video for both of them, which is going to be with the Stripe payments. And finally, we're just going to be adding in a footer and deploying the project. Okay. So see you guys in the next video. This was Angry EDU and peace.